Alright guys, gals, friends, family, Steve Patton with General Patton Bushcraft back with you with another super exciting video. And today's video is Alone Frozen Season 1 Episode 3 now, titled The Edge. Let's get right into it. But before you leave the channel, please subscribe and hit that bell icon, and in that drop down menu do select all, friends. And if you at the end, if you like the video, give the video a like. Okay, there's 44 days left on the show, friends. 5 people remain. And we get to see Michelle. She's 47 from Maine. Wonia, 45 from California. And Greg, 58 from British Columbia. And right away at the beginning of the show, friends, there's 6 days, they're in 6 days, and Greg taps. After 6 days, he taps out, no food. Remember, he got that wet down sleeping bag, and he taps out. When the boat's coming to pick us up, he tells us that this is a game for the young. Okay, there's 4 people left now. That means $125,000 for each one if they all make it. Cali shows us a seal on the rock, and they tell us that if there's seals in the area, that there's sharks in the area. And they tell us there's about 7 different types of sharks off the coast there. In season 7, Cali lost 48 pounds, but on this show she's feeling good, feeling real good about the situation. She's got lots of muscles, lots of clams. And remember, friends, she found that big piece of seal hide with all that seal fat on it. Alright, next up we get to see Amos, 41 years old from Indiana, and he doesn't have a lot of firewood around his site, friends. So he goes down to the shoreline, he finds a real big log, friends, but Amos is cutting that thing with an axe. He must have brought an axe for one of his 10 items instead of a saw, friends. And he's burning 500 calories an hour using an axe. And we see him miss and hit his leg. Friends, he almost cut his leg and took him out of the show. I don't know why he brought an axe. I'd much rather have that saw. 43 days now, and we go to Wonia. And Wonia, oh my goodness, during her escapades, hiking around in the brush, she must have pulled the safety off her bear spray, friends. So back in the shelter that night now, oh my goodness, she sprays her shelter up, didn't realize that the safety was off the pepper spray. So she loads up the neck area on her rain jacket, friends, with pepper spray. Shows us all that orange, oily liquid. We know what it is. It's that Caspium pepper spray from the peppers, friends. So she gets a bunch of mud and clay and puts a barrier on that part of the jacket so she doesn't burn her neck. Okay, 43 days still. And Michelle, season 8, she was on season 8, went 21 days. She tells us she had her morning poop, which she's super excited about. And she's only missed 2 days so far of not pooping. She told us back on the other show, on season 8, she went 9 days without pooping. And so she's down on the shoreline looking for mussels and clams, sees a grouse, but I don't know what the heck's going on with these people, friends. She doesn't have her bow and arrow with her. Why are these people down foraging for food with no weapon, with no bow and arrow with them, friends? That's what I want to know. Leave me a comment. So she goes back to the shelter, gets her bow and arrow, and you know these grouse hang around forever. The grouse is still there when she gets back. Matter of fact, the grouse ends up close to her shelter. She gets a shot off. She nails the grouse, and good on Michelle. She has a wonderful dinner that night. And I want to just make a special note right now on Michelle. She has a fantastic shelter. Looking very strong to me, friends. At the end of her shelter, she made a real nice enclosed fireplace. She's looking strong, friends. That's Michelle. All right. We go back to Wonia now. Low tide. She goes down, and her strategy for the day is during low tide is just to gather as many clams and mussels as she can. She gathers 7 pots full, friends. And during her gathering and foraging, the tide comes back in, and unbeknownst to Wonia, the tide takes her bag out to sea. She has to wade out waist deep in that frigid Atlantic water to get that bag. Ooh wee, not smart, friends. Listen, we got to be a lot more aware, and our spidey senses have got to be on full blown when we're out here trying to survive, friends. All right, 42 days left now. We go back to Michelle, season 8. She went 21 days on season 8, and she's not getting any sleep that night. 46 miles an hour winds, friends. Super windy night. She wakes up and decides to fortify that already nice shelter. So she ribs the outside on top of the tarps with some lodge poles, and then fortifies it and insulates it with some thick moss. Her shelter is looking really, really nice. Okay, still 42 days. We're 8 days into this thing. We get to go back to Cali. Same thing. She gets a shot off on a grouse, and she angles her arrow so that if she misses, it goes out into the Atlantic and not in the forest. Well, she misses the grouse, and of course now she's got to strip down and wade out into the Atlantic. Another lady wading out into the Atlantic to get her arrow. But she needs that arrow, friends. No choice. She goes out, wades out there. And remember, she got frostbite on the last show she was on. So we see her retrieve that arrow, and then she's back at the shelter warming those feet. That's her number one thing, is she's got to keep those feet dry and warm, friends. That's how she got pulled on the last season she was on. All right, we're 9 days into this thing, 41 days left now, and we get to see Amos. Amos is out fishing by hand, and that's his forte. That's what he's really good at is hand fishing. During low tide, he figures that he might be able to get some fish trapped in the tide pools, and he gets nothing, friends. Back at the shelter. And let me make a note about Amos's shelter. Doesn't look very good to me, friends. He's got no insulation. It just looks like a bare tarp out there, an A-frame tarp. And he's sitting in that uninsulated A-frame shelter, and he tells us he's going to switch his strategy from fishing to bear hunting, friends. All right, we're 40 days in. 4 people remain. And we go back to Wonia. There's a bad storm the night before, and she's got a lot of leaks in her shelter, friends. She wakes up, everything's wet, but she shows us a very nice rainbow from coast to coast, coastline to coastline. Big old rainbow, beautiful rainbow, friends. Looks like she has a nice day. The show ends right there. Episode 3, titled The Edge, and that's how the show ends, friends. All right, 4 people, $125,000 each. That's how they can split up the pot at this point, friends. But leave me a comment. Let me know who you think is going to win. Greg tapped out on this show, friends. right. As always, God is good. God is great. We'll see y'all on the next video. Already got a date.